Ciao, I'm Mario, a Swiss car guy on YouTube. And if you watched my recent videos, I sold or got rid of my 2008 Lexus LS 600H, a car I've owned for 7 years and 7 months. I made a cost of ownership video. And now the question is, what did I replace it with? And to be honest, I'll make it very short. What I can say is that I traded in my pinnacle of Japanese engineering towards Korean appliance. I bought a Kia. Let's reveal it. Now you might ask, Mario, why did you replace a Lexus LS 600H, a luxury car, with, sort of this? Well, there's two reasons. First off, I basically don't need a luxury car. I get it, I'm over 40, but I can still deal with regular style cars. And given the level of problems the Lexus developed in its older age, I wanted to have something a bit more modern, a bit newer. This car is a 2018, so it's 8 years old, which I realize it's not very young, but in my context, this is half as old as my youngest other car, which is the Cayman, which is 18. Oh my God, this is less than half as old. Oh, okay. So this is a very new car for me. And also, this is like the most modern car I've ever owned, because this has like lane keep assist that actually sort of works. This has lane departure warning. It has a lot of technology and stuff in it. And the thing is also, Kia Stingers in Switzerland, they only exist as one model. So they only ever sold the GT. So this is I think it's the Lambda 2 engine, 3.3 liter bi-turbo V6. It develops 370 horsepower. This, being a 2018, actually develops 370 horsepower, because I think in 2019 they added a fuel particulate filter, which this one doesn't have. Those cars only have 366 horsepower, so it's basically the same, but it's still a bit more, and one thing less that can go wrong. But Stingers in Switzerland, they only existed as the GT, which I think corresponds to what is sold in America as the GT2. So this is the fully loaded Stinger. It has everything. I think the only options you had on these cars were you could choose the paint color and maybe wheels, but the cars are fully loaded. They have everything. They have adaptive cruise control, they have the ventilated Nappa leather seats, they have the panoramic glass roof. They just came only in this spec, which makes shopping for a used Kia Stinger here in Switzerland quite easy, because they all have everything. So it's not like when you shop for a Mercedes or a BMW or an Audi where you realize, oh my God, this is the perfect car, and then it doesn't have like adaptive cruise control. So why wouldn't it have that? It was like a very expensive car. Plus, the Stinger GT in Switzerland is always all-wheel drive, which I do really like, and I think I need in winter, because the alternative for a Stinger would have been rear-wheel drive, and rear-wheel drive just doesn't work for me. I have 3 other rear-wheel drive cars, and in winter, rear-wheel drive just sucks, because there are situations where you can get stuck, and with an all-wheel drive car, you don't have these problems. So the Stinger, and what's also great about the Stinger, and this is like something new for me, a real novelty for me, it has seats in the rear that fold down, so you can increase the trunk. I finally have a car with a properly sized trunk where I can transport things, and not like the Lexus where I had to transport bicycles in the interior of the car. So that's great, I really like it. Also, I like it that you can close the trunk remotely with a key or with a button. With the Lexus, that didn't work. So if the trunk didn't close, or if you left it open and you already sat in the car, you had to get out and then close it, and this works remotely. So this is great. I do like the Stinger. I watched a YouTube review of somebody I personally trust, and he liked it, so I thought I could buy a Stinger. The review was a bit older, but I think it still stands what he said. What I really like about the Kia Stinger GT is that it's one of those I wouldn't go as far as call it a halo car, but for a manufacturer like Kia, this was a car that they tried to show off that they can actually do more than just cheap, nasty economy cars. And I do like to buy cars where manufacturers try their best. I mean, not they tried their best and they failed, but where they give it all because they want to show off. And the Stinger, I think, is one of these cars. And yes, now all the people will chime in the comment. Yes, Alfred Biermann, BMW M, he did the setup on the car. Yes, sure. And the car handles great. It drives, actually, I like sitting and driving in the car because the seating position is perfect. The seats are very comfortable. And the car actually, it feels more sporty than my Porsche, which is weird, but it has more power than the Porsche and is probably faster. But this is my daily driver, so it has all-wheel drive, it's reasonably sized, it's a bit smaller than the Lexus, but the turning radius is actually larger, so I have to maneuver more with this car, but you cannot always win. And also, it's black. I'm not a big fan of black cars because they tend to look dirty very quickly, and you see every little scratch on it, and this car has a few scratches. I mean, it's 8 years old, but the reason I actually bought this very specific car is because there are not that many Kia Stingers in Switzerland. I have to actually look it up. I will look at the official documentation from the Swiss Federation and then post a number of how many Stingers are actually in circulation currently in Switzerland. Maybe I even do a voiceover. There are 691 Kia Stingers currently in circulation in Switzerland. So you see, comparably rare, especially if you compare it to, a BMW, what would be a comparative BMW, a 440 or something like this, so, or an Audi A5 or whatever. Those cars are ubiquitous, while the Stingers, they are quite rare. And I do like driving something a bit more exotic, something you don't see around every corner. So the Stinger fit my bill perfectly. However, this still doesn't explain why I bought this specific car. And the reason is there are not that many Stingers, therefore there are not that many Stingers for sale. And this one was reasonably close to where I live, and it wasn't super expensive, and it was sold by a dealer. Normally I don't buy cars from dealers. I prefer to buy from the previous owner, so you can talk to him, know what the car was for him and what he did and what not. But in this case I think it was a benefit for me because I was able to trade in my Lexus. So the dealer immediately offered me $6,000 for the Lexus, just glancing at it. And honestly, I reckon if I sold the Lexus privately, I might have gotten maybe even less with all the problems it had. So I traded it in, I got this car, and this car was sort of mid-priced. Usually I like to buy the bottom of the market, and in this case I didn't. I actually looked at another one that actually was the bottom of the market, but it had double the mileage of this one, and it had issues. It had a few issues that, and it had no service records and nothing, and the seller wouldn't come down enough in price, so I figured, not worth it. I'll just buy this one because this has an immaculate service history. It's got 81,000 kilometers and it has 8 services done, so every 10,000 kilometers at the Kia dealer, the way it should be. So this was a sort of a well cared for car. I like the condition, and what's particularly great about this one is it doesn't have tinted windows in the rear. So I can finally see out. It's clear. I love it. I bought a car without tinted windows. It's great. And also, many of these Stingers, they have aftermarket exhausts. This one is stock, which I like because I don't need my car to be louder. I mean, this replaces a Lexus LS 600H, which was a very quiet car, so I don't want it to be any louder than it has to be. So things worked out. Very well cared for car. The dealer, he made an inspection, so the car is freshly inspected, so I don't have to worry about this for a few years. And they also replaced the rear brakes, so the rotors and pads, they are brand new, so I shouldn't have to worry too much and to do too much about this car. And it's unusual for me to buy a perfectly serviced car with all the dealer stamps at the right time and the right mileage, because and of course I'm gonna ruin this perfect record. Not because I'm not planning on doing the 10,000 kilometer service. Yes, Kia Stinger GTs need a service every 10,000 kilometers, but because I plan to do them myself in my workshop, because I think an oil change is something I can still manage. Plus, I would also like to do additional work like flushing the gearbox and replacing the spark plugs, which nobody ever does, not even at the dealer. So I want to keep this car serviced up well so that it works well and hopefully serves me well. I'm aware that this is not a Japanese car, this is not a Lexus, it's not a Toyota. This is not going to be as reliable. Then again, this is more of a more sporty car, and I think it should still hopefully be more reliable than a comparable BMW or Mercedes or Audi. So we will see. Anyway, this is my 2018 Kia Stinger GT, the newest car I have ever owned, and I hope it's going to treat me well. So what do you think of the car? Did I choose well? Would you have guessed it? Did I choose badly? I'm not going to show you any driving impressions of the car in this video, because if you want to see those, go look at the review I made of the Kia Stinger GT in 2018, 8 years ago. It was not this car, but it was one like it, because they're all the same except for the color. But this is it, just a quick introduction to my 2018 Kia Stinger GT, a car that after one day of ownership so far I do like, even though when I bought it, it was dirty because the seller couldn't drive to the car wash, and then I said, whatever, I'll wash it by hand. Then I did a quick wash just to get a feel of how many scratches and everything is on the car, and there are a few scratches because black paint, you see everything. But I mean, this is a daily driver, it's never going to be perfect. I had to polish the rear here because originally there was a white number plate on it, and the holder had kind of dulled the paint underneath, but I removed everything, I polished it, it looks all right. I removed the sticker, it was a big CH sticker, because this is aluminium, a magnetic CH sticker, so a Switzerland sticker will not stick to the car. And I have to add a Swiss Car Guy sticker somewhere. Where should I put the sticker? Down here or maybe on the glass? Comment down below, where should I put the sticker? Also, what do you think of my choice? Would you have guessed it? Do you think it's a decent car? Or are you one of those people who believe that Kias are all crap cars? I think mostly Americans do not like them because of the Theta 2 engines that all fail apparently, but the Stingers are supposed to be sort of okay-ish, so we will see how that turns out. Anyway, subscribe to the channel to see more on this car and its future. Like this video if you liked it, and comment down below whatever you want. Congratulations, or that I'm an idiot for buying that car. Oh, and you might want to comment down below, how much did I pay for the car? Because you already know the dealer gave me 6,000 francs in trade-in value for the Lexus, which he, by the way, then told me that he did a bad deal because the Lexus is going into export, so it's going either to Africa or to the very Eastern Europe, somewhere in nowhere land, and he only got 4.5 grand for it, so he said he didn't earn any money on this deal. But do you ever trust used car dealers? I don't know. Oh, by the way, the car also comes with sort of a basic warranty, so I have a bit of a warranty, an aftermarket one for a year, so let's see. I hope I don't need it, but I got 6,000 francs of trade-in value for the Lexus, and then I paid in cash 20 grand. So this car cost me 26,000 francs, which is a little less than half of what it cost new 8 years ago, which I think is actually quite expensive. I think these cars should have depreciated more. But then again, they are kind of rare here in Switzerland, and for that reason I think prices are a bit higher, especially if it's a lower mileage car which has been well kept. Because I mean, usually I don't buy lower mileage cars because I intend to drive this quite a lot, do 25 to 30,000 kilometers per year, so I don't know. But anyway, I paid 26,000 francs for the car with a 1-year warranty and freshly serviced and inspected, so go figure. But this is enough for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.